I will go ahead and introduce Dr. Baird from our occupational therapy program. She is here to share information with us about the Doctor of Occupational Therapy program. And Joanne, I apologize, I don't have access to the slides, but I know you can take it away.
I certainly can. I can talk my way through them. And I did download just my slides. So if you want to give, if Nicole doesn't come back, then you can give me access and I can share mine. But I think
Okay.
I think a good way to start would just be to explain what OT is. And so for those of you not familiar, occupational therapy, the occupation in occupational therapy means how you occupy yourself, your activities, the things that you choose to do, the things that you want to do, that you are expected to do, or that you need to do. And we work with individuals all across the lifespan, no matter what their impairments, whether they are physical or cognitive or psychological or emotional. And we work all across the healthcare and wellness continuum. And our students come from from varying backgrounds. So we have students who major in areas that you would expect, things like kinesiology and biology and neuroscience. And then we also have students who major in art history and archaeology and engineering. And we really love that. And we even, as far as where you would work, if you have a degree in OT, we have students who work in the places that you would expect. So places like hospitals, different healthcare settings. We work in wellness centers in the community. We work within community-based organizations, things like the Multiple Sclerosis Society, or in community centers, or in day programming centers for older adults. But we also work in some places where you might not expect to see us, like at Google or Amazon, working with individuals to get more of a lifestyle balance, or in ergonomics. There's even OTs who work for NASA. So it really is one of those degrees that the sky, literally, the sky is the limit. In terms of the characteristics that might make a student a good fit, our program is rigorous, but we look for students who come to us with maturity and leadership, because we really believe that OT in the next generation is going to look very different than it does in this generation. And so we look for the professional characteristics that can't be taught. Okay, so Jess is telling me, go ahead and share your screen. Go ahead.
But I just saw that Nicole just popped back up on the screen. There she is. She lost power.
Oh, that stinks.
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. Oh, so right. I'm just clicking through. So I'm sort of on the slide that's the one that's orange, and that has, this one.
Okay.
And I'm talking, and I think the next thing I probably would want to talk about is that the entry level in my profession is at both a doctoral level and a master's level. And it's important to remember that Pitt's program is at a clinical doctorate level. And a student would want to consider a clinical doctorate level because it really opens more doors. Our clinical doctorate program is set up to allow a student to have the experience of developing a program. So I was saying that we really believe that the next generation of our profession is going to look vastly different than prior generations, or what OT exists as now. And one of the things to consider with education is your value. And graduate school is expensive, and we want our students to get the best value. One of the things to think about is, can you create a position for yourself where there isn't any? Can you create a program where there isn't any? And that's what our OTD program is designed to do. So we believe that our doctoral program opens more doors in that regard, because it provides more advanced training and allows students to do creation rather than to jump into just an existing position.
Now, are there any ways for students to learn about occupational therapy before they apply to the program? And if you answered this while I was gone, then we'll just skip.
No, we didn't review that while you were gone. That's one of the questions that we didn't talk about. So there are lots of ways for students to learn a little bit more about OT. One of them is to go to our, and I can put this in the chat, go to our website, our national website. It's the American Occupational Therapy Association, AOTA.org. Students can go there and they can Google that themselves. And we do encourage, and it is part of our application process, for students to have volunteer or shadowing hours. We really think that the best way to learn about OT is to actually see it being done.
So jumping over into admissions, are there any experiences that really help a student stand out when they're applying to the program?
Yes, we look for students who have experiences that demonstrate some of the professional behaviors I spoke about. Things like leadership experiences, having a maturity about them, being able to initiate things. So we really are interested in a student who possesses qualities that we can't teach them. We are going to teach them everything they need to be a great OT. So anything that helps them with leadership is a good type of experience for them to have.
Right. And I'm going to jump into this next slide and ask, what is the most important part of the application?
So that's a trick question. We look at every page of a qualified applicant's information. We don't believe that a student with the highest GPA is necessarily going to make the best clinician. However, our program is academically rigorous, and we do want to make sure that a student succeeds once they're here. So we do look at their prior academic performance, but we also look for their professional behaviors and their experiences. For example, we look at, did a student work? Did they have a part-time job or a volunteer position? Can they manage their time? Did they join an organization? And if they did they hold any type of leadership position or have a responsibility other than that at the membership level? Because we're looking for initiation and motivation and attention to something other than academics. So all of the application information is important, and we tell students to really pay special attention to the things that make them different from other applicants.
So writing what you think the application committee wants to read in those personal statements is probably not the best practice.
So with the personal statement, we always tell our applicants not to write about OT, because they're writing to a lot of OTs with a tremendous amount of experience, but rather write about themselves and what makes them passionate about wanting to become an OT.
Right. And you answered two questions in the same answer. So I'm going to jump over to outcomes.
Okay.
How are students doing when they complete the program?
So we have a very, very, very high placement rate, and I think it's right at or really close to 100%. It's like 98 or 100%. What we don't know is why it's high or what that means. So sometimes we'll have students tell us they're not actively looking for employment. When they graduated, they were like in the 24th grade and they wanted a break. And then sometimes we'll have students tell us that they have a job, but maybe it's not their dream job. And so I think it's really important that you're careful how you interpret that information.
Are there any specialties in particular that your alumni are working in?
So we have some students who, and within the profession of OT, we have some specialties such as low vision, or driving. And then we have some specialty areas such as pediatrics or older adults. And we have alumni working in all of those areas. And we're very proud of that.
And how, a little earlier on, you were talking about preparing students to create programs and create positions where they don't exist already. Have you seen any of your alumni doing this yet?
Yeah, we have a student who comes to mind immediately when you said that. He saw a need for an OT to do assessments of personal care homes and help families make good placement decisions for the older adults, for their loved ones. And he's has an excellent reputation in his area and has been able to start his own business as a result of his skills.
Is there anything else that you think the advisors should know about Pitt OT?
I think that one of the things that makes this a good situation is the partnership. So never be afraid to contact us, to ask us questions, or to send students directly to us, because we have information sessions that will help them, and we are always willing to help the advisors with any additional information that they might need.
Fantastic. So are there any questions for Joanne? Do you have any recommendations for students that are having a difficult time finding shadowing opportunities?
Katie, that's an excellent question, and we do. So we have we've suggested to students that because there are still limitations with shadowing because of COVID restrictions, that they contact some settings and see if they're providing any telemedicine or telehealth, and if students could sit in on those types of visits. What we found is that many times those visits are also restricted because of privacy and confidentiality restrictions and considerations, which is 100% understandable. We have a list of videos that we have vetted on our website, and students can watch those videos and sign and submit an attestation statement for our program. Now, this is not universal, but this is for our program. So if students are having trouble getting their observation hours and they go to our website, there's a list of videos of therapy services being provided, assessment and intervention across the lifespan that we as a faculty have vetted and have found them to be representative of strong, robust, and rigorous services. So we're satisfied that those videos are good ones, and we're allowing students just for the time being to watch those videos, sign an attestation statement, and upload that attestation statement as part of their application. I am not sure how long we are going to continue with that, but for students who are applying this year, that's what we're doing. Hopefully, we're keeping our fingers crossed that things the pendulum will be slowly swinging back and students will be able to get back into the clinical setting soon. It is much better to have a live experience than it is to have an observational one.
And I would like to echo that we are hearing telemedicine observation experiences are being accepted by all of our programs that require observation experience. But that might not be true everywhere. So make sure the students are contacting all of the programs that they are intending to apply to, and confirm that all over the place. So always confirm, don't assume what one school's accepting is going to work for everybody. And any other questions? Well, thank you so much, Joanne, for being with us this afternoon and talking to us about occupational therapy, and also for winging it when I disappeared there. Sorry about that. It's storming like crazy here, so what can you do?
No problem.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for your time. We really appreciate it. And have a great week.